I'm going to give everyone a minute to join, but I'm excited to see so many of you on here already. I think most of you have gotten my or our New Hampshire Gives information, and it just started at 5 o'clock. So we're starting to see those donations come in. And I think for Emily and I, who've been like working on getting together all the materials and like anxiously putting together this campaign, it's like exciting to see the donations starting to roll in. And so I'm focused on Sheafe tonight. But there's a little part of my brain that is thinking about New Hampshire Gives and how our campaign is going. So it's very exciting. We just got a $500 donation. All right, so it is 5:30 and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So, oh, we just have someone joining us. Um, so the structure of tonight, just to give everyone an idea and a little overview, is I'm going to share some of the basic Sheaf information to start, show you a little bit about how to use our website, talk through some of the changes that are new this year. I will make some introductions, and then really this is like an open discussion. I want to hear what questions you all have as artists participating in Sheaf this summer. And it will just leave it open with plenty of time for discussion and questions towards the end. How does that sound to everyone? Awesome. Thank you all for being here. And for those that I haven't met in person, I'm Amanda Kidd Kessler, and I'm the executive director here at NHAA. Most of you I know, but there's a few of you that I don't, so I just wanted to introduce myself. On the call tonight, we also have Emily Cady, who's our marketing director, and we have our new summer interns who will be spending a lot of time with you at Sheaf, Emily Novak and Sienna Hilborn. Awesome. So, has everyone has everyone been able to attend like see Sheaf? Like when we talk about Sheaf, does everyone know what we're talking about for the most part? You guys have been to the gallery? Great. So I do have some photos for those that haven't been able to see, so maybe we can skip that part. But let me, sorry, I have so many tabs open. Let me get to my correct Chrome window with all my Sheafe stuff. So, are you guys able to see this? Great. So, this is a beautiful Sheafe warehouse. This is sort of the Piscataqua River view. But when you're inside, it looks like this. And some of you have spent, plenty of time at Sheafe already, so you already know what this looks like. Last year, we were able to upgrade our signage. So I wanted to give a little bit of a taste of what that new signage looks like if you haven't seen it yet. And then you can sort of see in the background above this is like the two barn doors that open up to Sheafe. And we have like with this same colorful, the Gallery at Sheafe branding, really large signs that are visible throughout Prescott Park, which had last year when we launched it, it really raised the visibility of the Sheafe warehouse, which was super exciting. And we'll be using the same signage again this year as part of our rebrand that we did. And always as part of Sheaf, we sort of lay it out a little bit differently every year, depending on the work that we get. But for the most part, it's a combination of work on the walls as part of the gallery, and then also sculptures and gift items throughout. So that's just like a little bit of a taste of ways that we've set it up before. We'll be keeping to a similar way that we've done it the last several years. And then I wanted to share, uh, sorry, I'm not the most tech savvy and I'm juggling a lot of windows, so give me 1 second here. But I wanted to share some of the most important parts of the program, which are around our artist participation and volunteering. So are we seeing my screen again now? Looking good? Okay, great. So if you go to the NHAA website, notice the red banner for New Hampshire Gives, as stated before. But from our homepage, right now, if you go to our calls for art, and under more details, most of you have already signed up for Sheaf, but the part that I want to point you to the Sign Up Genius link. A really key part of participating in Sheaf is that all artists that participate are required to volunteer for 4 shifts. And 4 shifts, you can do 2 days and have your shifts be back to back if you're traveling from further afield, and that makes it easier for you. That's totally fine. But here you can see that some of the shifts have already started to fill up, which is great. And if you notice a shift like July 4th here where there's no one, we might choose to close that day because of artists not being, not volunteering that day, which is totally fine. But whenever you see it, like whenever you're signing up for a shift, you want to prioritize the empty shifts and just know that if there's no one or there's only someone for half the day, we're such a small team here that like the way that we're able to do Sheaf is through artists volunteering and participating. Which is also part of what makes it such a wonderful community event because I know that many of our Sheaf artists have connected with fellow NHAA members and formed new friendships. And that's the beauty of it too, is you get to hang out in a beautiful place with fellow artists. Um, so this is really important. And if you ever have trouble using Sign Up Genius, you can get in touch with myself or Emily or Sienna, one of our new interns, to help walk you through the process. And Emily and Sienna will be reaching out to you if they notice that you haven't signed up for all 4 shifts. So just know that we'll be communicating a lot via email, and we'll be in touch if we notice that something isn't as it should be. We also have this Sheaf Warehouse setup Sign Up Genius, and Carol sent this out recently. This one is for um, the actual setting, installation of the panels, painting, basically taking the empty Sheafe warehouse, and with 24 hours, a little bit more than that, but within 24 hours, really turning it into an art gallery. And then after we have the panels that go up, we do the finishing touches of painting. We have all of you come and drop off the work, and then we install the work. So if you've ever been curious about participating in that process or seeing how we make the magic happen, I highly recommend that you volunteer for one of these shifts. It doesn't count towards your 4 shifts, but it's a really rewarding process, and it's just really fun to see it all come together. There's a lot of different roles that you can have. So if you're uncomfortable with power tools, like the panel setup is very much like power tools, installing, doing a little bit, it's physical work, a little bit of heavy lifting, to get everything going. But we also need help with checking other artists' work in, painting the panels. And we also set up tables to like merchandise the gallery. So it has a little bit of like, it's accessible for our lovely tourists that come to visit and are looking to purchase smaller items as they're walking through the park. So we have cards and gift items and all of that lovely stuff that we've gone over in the call for art, that we sort of merchandise and display. So you can also help with that process as well. So if you, we'll send out this link again probably next week to everyone. But if you'd like to participate in the setup, we would love to have your help. And then that's sort of like the main basis of probably most of what you already know. But I wanted to share one of the things that we found from last year. For those that are brand new, we have a barcode process, which Emily is going to walk us through in a minute. And we've created this form to kind of make that easier for artists instead of having to email us the details, which is what we did last year. Now we just have this form, and you can, as I scroll down, you enter your email, your, contact information, and then Emily, you can talk more about the processes, and I'll fill this out as sort of like a dummy version.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it won't let you go to the next page unless you start filling it out. But yeah, essentially, this gives us a shareable way to enter all of your information so that we can log all the pieces, all the gifts, the jewelry, whatever you're dropping off with us. We want to be able to have a record of that. So we know, obviously what's sold and we can keep track of everything that you brought to us. And that's just how we do it with this form. So essentially, when you get to the next page, um, there's, a couple of spaces. You can enter a maximum of 2 pieces for the wall, depending on what you signed up for at the beginning. We had, I think, a $40 option and a $60 option, depending on how many pieces you wanted to put into the show. So that's where you would enter that work. We need your title, medium, and price. Um, and then we can go on to the next page here. It's going to be the same for
Sorry, I didn't fill that out right. Let me see if I missed the price here. So
So it's going to be the same once you get past this page. It's going to be the same for all the gift items as well. And there are as many like slots to fill out for as we allow pieces for you to enter in that category. So you're allowed to bring 10 unframed pieces for bins, which essentially just means you've probably seen them if you've been to the gallery. They're essentially wooden standing bins that people can flip through and look at prints. And so they need to be in plastic sleeves. They need to be about a quarter of an inch. Bin work sells really well. That's priced at 150 or less or so. You're obviously allowed to put things in there that are more expensive than that, but that's just what people are typically looking for, like 150 or less if they're flipping through the bins. Um, and so once you've filled these out, I don't think they're required fa past the first 2 entries because if you only want to put 1 or 2 pieces in, you can. You're not required to put in card packs or um, gift items or things, you can just put in your one or two pieces. And then at the bottom of the last page, it has you kind of check off little just things for you to kind of acknowledge that you're going to drop off at a certain date, that you've signed up for your shifts. There's also a link to um the Sign Up Genius on there as well. Um, so yeah, it's just to kind of help get everybody on the same page, get all the information to us in one place so we can get into our Square system. And then when you come for drop off on Tuesday, we've also extended drop off from 9 to noon on Wednesday. We spread it out a little bit just in case you need to drop off on a different day. Um, when you drop off, my goal is to have all of this information entered by then and have everyone's barcodes printed by the time you drop off, which is why we say, please don't bring work that you haven't entered into into this form, because we won't have a barcode for it. So my goal is to have everything printed, and so when you drop off your work, we can kind of barcode it as you drop it off. And you'll have your inventory tags on the back of each piece. It's going to be the same as we do for most gallery shows, where you just print off your name, the price, the medium, and put it on the back of each thing. That helps us know what everything is, especially on drop-off days when it's a little chaotic and there's so many people dropping off different things. It helps us keep everything straight, so we'll add the barcodes to those inventory labels on the back, um, and we'll go from there.
And I'm just showing everyone how to access the member portal where we have those inventory labels because filling those out can take a little bit of time. So I totally understand if you want to get ahead of the game. This is all on our member portal, and you can scroll down and we have the inventory labels right here. And you click on that, you can, I like to copy paste, like I'll like write my name in one and then I'll make it's fillable. So then I'll like paste it into all the artist slots, and then I can just work on individually filling out like the title, the medium, and the price. But this is always really helpful, and I recommend that everyone participating just download this off of our member portal right now. So then you can have it and just chip away at labeling all of your pieces, because if you do take advantage of the full amount, having like the 10 gift items and like all of the bin pieces and your work on the wall, it just will make that a little bit, you can kind of spread out the workload a little bit. Um,
Something that's going to be new. Oh, sorry, Amanda.
no, no, go ahead.
Something that's going to be a little new this year too is just like this, you see this form here. We're going to create a shortened version for you to submit when you have restocks. So for the Sheafe show, when something sells, it's part of your like volunteer responsibilities is to let the artists know that their work has sold. So once you sell something out of the bin or off of the wall, you're welcome to bring a replacement, but we also still need to know what it is. So we'll have you fill out a quick Google form to let us know what it is, get it into our system, and have you drop it off at NHAA so we can get a tag on it.
Absolutely. And the reason why we're making these changes is just like Emily said, we're a really small team and we are trying to work smarter, not harder. And last year, and we were in some cases like manually inputting each artist information in order to generate the barcode, which, as you can imagine, like we had, I don't know, like well over in like I want to say 500 pieces. But when you count every pack of cards, every piece on the wall, every, gift item and bin piece, it's a massive inventory. And then we also have our NHAA merch with our t-shirts and our mugs and our rain gear and all of that stuff. So it's a huge lift for our team to manage this inventory. And by creating these forms, it makes it so that at least this information is in a digital format for us to be able to manipulate and use a little bit easier. So as you're inputting all of your information, please think about like, do you want the first letter of your first name capitalized? Do you accidentally have all caps on when you're writing your titles? Because our team will interpret all of that as intentional. And if we, sometimes we can catch it, but it's just an enormous amount of editing that we have to do. And also, like, we're artists, right? Sometimes we do make those intentional choices. Um, and so it's always hard for us to tell, like, was this an intentional choice or was this a typo? So please be really mindful of your spelling, be really mindful of like when you're using capital letters, because we will sort of give you we're looking at it through an artistic lens and assuming that like that was a choice. And if it's not, then, we'll have to go back and make a lot of corrections and do a lot of editing on our end. And that will also go for the wall labels that we're going to create that will hang alongside your piece. Um, and if we understand that things change and that, things shift, but we're just trying to really help encourage thoughtfulness in the application process. One of the biggest struggles that we've had is like with things like price changes or title changes or, oh, that piece is no longer available, so now I'm swapping it out with this one. And while we will always be as accommodating as we can, this is a team effort. And just like we're asking you to volunteer, just like how we're asking you to help with the setup, like being mindful and thoughtful in filling out these forms is really helpful for our team. So we're excited for you to participate and to use these new systems. And so now I'm going to stop my screen share and I'm going to open it up for questions. Annie, go ahead.
Hi. I have a question about how do we open up and how do we close? Where's the best place to park? Is there a key?
Great questions. So today, actually, Emily and Sienna have been working on updating our Sheafe handbook. And once we get it to a point where we're like, this is it, you'll be receiving an email from them that it'll be a PDF that you can read through, you can print out, you can print it out and mark it up, because we're also going to be doing a training. So for everyone's first shift, Emily and Sienna are going to, or an NHAA team member, are going to walk you through your first volunteer shift. So you'll, in the instructions in the handbook, it says, go to the levy gallery, pick up the key, pick up the red envelope. So you'll do that, and then we'll walk with you down to the Sheaf warehouse. We'll show you how to unlock it. We'll show you how to open the doors. We'll show you how to turn on the lights. We'll stay with you for the first sale that you make and teach you how to use the Square Reader. And then after we feel like you've got it, we feel confident in your skills, we also give you plenty of information on how to and when to reach out if you have a question or you're feeling unsure about something. We have plenty of phone numbers, including the Levy Gallery main line that goes right to this desk. And for most of the Sheaf hours, there's someone working at the Levy Gallery who can answer the phone. But in those like extended hours that we encourage at Sheaf because of all of the excitement and the events that happen in Prescott Park over the summer, we also have team member cell phone numbers. So you can always send a text or call someone's cell phone to get them if you're in a situation that you really need support.
As far as parking goes, too, we also have, it's just one parking pass, Amanda, right? So it kind of gets traded out between everyone who's volunteering. So we do have one parking pass for Sheep Warehouse, which is on Water Street. So you can essentially put that pass in your car and be good to park there for the duration of your shift.
But as you might note there for our volunteer shifts, there's often two artists signed up for those shifts. So as part of the Sheaf handbook that you'll be receiving, you'll also be receiving an artist directory. And that artist directory will have all the Sheaf artists' names and their phone numbers and emails. And that is there for you so that you can go onto the Sign Up Genius and see, oh, okay. Annie might be volunteering with Fleur that day. And then Annie and Fleur, the two of you will coordinate and send each other emails or might pick up the phone and call each other and say, hey, do you need the parking pass? Do you need the parking pass? Who's going to get to the gallery to pick up the red envelope first? And then for the person that isn't parking at the Sheafe warehouse on Water Street, we recommend that you park on Pierce Island, which is a short walk to the Sheafe warehouse. And if accessibility and walking, if it's a really hot day and that doesn't seem safe for you, let's have a conversation about that. And you can also have that conversation with each other and say, hey, can you meet me at the parking lot that I'm parking at over at Pierce Island and pick me up and drive, and then we can drive together to the Sheaf warehouse. There's ways that we can work around those types of things as they arise. Mary,
Along the lines of parking, are we allowed, I'm thinking about handicap parking.
mhm.
I know there's one down on Water Street, but would they ticket me if I park on Prescott Park in that parking lot?
I don't want to give you like bad information. So we can send you, maybe Emily, can you send the Portsmouth parking map link into the chat for everyone?
Yep.
Um, so I believe that you can actually reserve handicap parking through the city. I believe if you call the city of Portsmouth, you can set that up. There might be a fee associated with that. Um, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that those handicap spots are like fair game. Like you don't have to have a parking pass in order to park there, is my understanding.
All right, thank you.
Mhm. Sienna.
I was wondering if there's a total limit on the number of pieces you're allowed to submit. If, say, you want to do prints and cards plus the normal two submissions.
Yes, so the normal two submissions are what we think of as like the artwork that's framed and hanging on the wall. Or if you're a 3D artist, like a larger sculpture that might be on a pedestal. There's no restrictions on like having different mediums or mixing things up. Especially at Sheaf, we love to see the variety. I think that's what makes it a really fun exhibition. And then in every category, there's a certain limit. So for bin pieces, there's a limit of 10. And bin pieces are like matted prints or matted works on paper. You can have up to 10. Note cards, I believe, is also packs up to 10. Emily, is that right? Or is it 20?
I can't quite remember. I can't remember if it's cards or gift items that are a maximum of 20. But when you're going to fill out the Google form, the amount of like spaces that there are the amount you can have in there. And it also lists it, I think, up at the top of each category, how many you can put in.
Yeah, so the gift items here, you can see there's a maximum of 20 because there's 20 slots here. And um, the one thing is like in the case of card packs, we have 22. We're assuming that there are 20 individual card packs that have different um, imagery. If you were to fill out each one here. So the total quantity, if you have like I put my deer card pack, I have two of those. Um, the total quantity shouldn't be more than 20, if that makes sense. So this is kind of a flexible form where you can have 20 individual card packs of four, or you can have one card pack that's the deer card pack or whatever you name your art, and you can have 20. It's an and or. You can't have 20 individual card packs and a quantity of 20 for all of them, if that makes sense.
But you can put in, 20 gift items, 20 card packs, and two pieces. So there's no limit on the like total of what you bring in as long as each you adhere to like the amount for each section.
Mhm. And then the other thing with that too is replacement pieces. So we started talking about that a little bit with this additional form that we'll be sending out and a new process on that we'll be sharing in the handbook and going over with each artist during the first volunteer shift. But what's really exciting is if you have a really popular item, or if you have an original work that's like a framed work or a sculpture that's on the wall, and that sells, that's amazing. And we have that space in the gallery that's reserved for you. So you can bring in another piece, but it has to be around the same size because again, that area, when we do the exhibition design and we install all of the work, we kind of have a set amount of space and that hook on the wall, we want to just be able to plop another work of yours on that wall. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but within a few inches. And if it's a horizontal, then we want another horizontal. And if it's a vertical, we want another vertical. Of course, if that's impossible, we will do our best to accommodate, but it is a lot easier to accommodate if you kind of plan on having pieces within, I would say 4 or 5 inches on each dimension that can kind of slot into that space that's reserved for you. And for a pedestal, if you're doing sculpture, it's the same thing. If hopefully it'll fit on that same pedestal, so then we don't have to swap anything out. That would make it a lot harder for us, especially because we would be, switching out pedestals is a little bit of a heavy lifting job we like to get done at the beginning of the exhibition. Jamie.
Hey, you might have said it and I missed it, but what constitutes a gift item? Can it be like tea towels or stickers or all of the above? Just anything that's not a card or a bin print?
Pretty much. We are really open to it, and we didn't want to put like specific parameters around it because we thought that might limit artists' creativity or like we didn't want it to be like a definitive list. So the process that we've used that's listed in the on that call for art on our call for art
Oh, okay, it's
website, it says like if you have gift items, like share samples with Amanda and Carol. So if you shoot me over a quick email that has images of what you're looking to have as gift items, usually we just make, we just, it's usually like a yes, but it also helps us to know what to expect if we need to bring different fixtures or like if there's a special display that we think might be really helpful to have, knowing what we're like, for example, we have like a coat rack we can bring, we have a t-shirt rack. Like if we know ahead of time what artists are bringing, then we can be a little bit more prepared for like the merchandising side of things. Um, but I think tea towels would be great. In the past, we've had tote bags, we've had aprons, like hand sewn aprons, we've had pillowcase covers, we've had coasters. I do ceramic work and I've had a bunch of different types of ceramic pieces that I've submitted that have done decent. We've had jewelry. Stickers are always popular. And for stickers, that's one of the exceptions where like we understand that like volume for stickers is sort of the name of the game. So and you can have higher quantities as part of a sticker collection because again, thinking of like our big problem that we're trying to solve is making sure that we have enough space to make everyone's work look amazing. And that's where some of like the size restrictions come in. So for stickers, they don't take up a lot of space. We ask that if you are submitting a sticker collection, that you submit an image of a display or like plan on having a display so that everyone can kind of know, oh, all these stickers are by this artist and look at how great. And a lot of times people will buy more than one. Does that answer your question? I think so.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes. Also really quick too, what is the minimum measurements for the bin work?
It's a good question. We usually ask things to be like matted to a standard size. Um,
Like a 10?
8 by 10. I think if it's smaller than 8 by 10, there's a risk that it might slip through the bin.
That's
But
what I was thinking. Yeah,
we
I was worried
can,
about.
yeah, we can kind of, again, like with the merchandising aspect of things, like we can use like a small easel, or we can kind of put like if you had a 5x7 print or something like that, or even like a 5x7 print that was framed with one like a frame that's like a stand-up frame to go on a shelf or something. Like we can qualify that. Yeah, exactly. We can, if you bring your own display, makes it a lot easier for us. And we can kind of qualify some of those things as like gift items, or we can kind of massage it a little bit. Um, you know, it's really about like, do we have the space and do we have the ability to display it in an elegant way? Emily, you had a question.
Yeah, I have like a paper like zine kind of. Would that be qualified as like a gift item? And
Absolutely.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would, the only thing with zines is think about how it's packaged and how you want it to how to display it. So
Mhm.
like not necessarily required, but something that like where does the barcode go, or like where like do we want to have like a label that says, this is a zine created by this artist and what the price is, like as one of our, we'll just have to think through that a little bit.
Mhm.
And but no, zines are very welcome. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Like Fleur, you've participated in Sheafe, not to put you on the spot, but I don't know for some of the folks that haven't done it yet, do you have any like comments on what the experience has been like so far for you? Oh, you're on mute.
Is it-
There you
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I don't do this enough. So, um, oh, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. It was fun to meet other artists, and I love talking to the public and, get seeing people's reactions. And yeah, it was really fun. I'm so looking forward to this. Um,
Wonderful. Thank you.
when I was a teenager, my mother was an artist, a painter. So it's like going back in time because we did all the outdoor shows when I was a teenager. So, it was just like, oh, this is great. I get to do this again.
I love to hear that.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. It's great. And you get people from all over the country.
Hmm.
A lot of people from even Europe. Sometimes you get someone from Europe. So yeah, it's great. It's great. And the show is great. It's very eclectic. So there's always something for everybody. The only thing you really have to watch, you've got to be visible and vigilant. You cannot just sit back and chat with your newly made friend because people do steal things. And that happened on my shift once. And I was like, oh my God, how did that happen? There were the two of us and we chatted. You can talk, but you've got to keep your eye open. And I always go up to them if it seems, what's the word? Well, applicable or correct. I say, well, hello, can I help you with anything? Is there anything you'd like? Because if you engage a little bit, they are less likely to slip something in their pocket. So I don't like to be cynical, but that's the way it is.
No, that's a great point, and I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
we included that in our training.
Oh,
So
you
in our
did.
training
Okay.
last year, we
Hmm.
introduced a few different things for in response to that experience. One is
Uh-huh.
that we put up signs around the gallery in like,
Yes.
around the really small pocketable gift
Yeah.
item that said "Smile, you're on camera."
Oh, good.
So we
Earrings,
so we
things like
have
that.
those in strategic locations around the
Okay.
gallery. And then exactly as you said, being friendly, engaging
Hmm.
people, chatting them up, you
And they
know,
like it,
um,
many
it's
people.
yeah, because a lot of the people that go to Sheaf are visitors. So they want to
Yes.
know where they should get lunch. They want to know like how long this exhibit's been going on for, and they
Right.
get a lot of questions about like what is this building? When was it built? Like what's the
Yeah,
historical significance of the Sheafe warehouse. And
right.
for the past several years, we've created signage that we print that gives a little bit of information and the backstory about
Mm-hmm.
Sheafe warehouse because we know
Mm-hmm.
that that's a really big question. And so this way you won't be stuck like, I don't know anything about this building. You can point to our
No.
signage and say, well, NHAA has actually been having an exhibit here for over 50 years. And here's some info about the Sheafe warehouse. So
Right,
we try
right.
to make those things easy for you. And
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
we cover all of that in the training.
Great.
This is also a really great opportunity to sell your own work too. People coming in think it's so cool that they get to meet the artist. The artist's work is here. You can tell them
Mm-hmm.
about the process, and people get really excited about that. And a lot of the time, people will buy your work if they get to meet you in person and chat with you. So it's
Right.
a great opportunity to really connect directly with people who are looking to purchase artwork.
And you
Absolutely.
get feedback.
Exactly.
They'll talk about it and see something in it you never noticed. So it's kind of fun. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is fun.
And we also have Adirondack chairs that we set up. We usually have a few that are in the gallery, like overlooking the water. So if someone wants to sit in the shade and, just be in the gallery and take a minute, we encourage that. And then we also have, I think we have 4 chairs total. So we can kind of play around with what the arrangement is, but usually at least 2 inside and 2 outside is a nice pairing. Sometimes we put all 4 inside. And that way it's not like for some people, it'll be in and out, quick circuit, look around, bye-bye. But other folks will stay for longer, who will want to engage, might want to sit, take a little bit of a rest. Um, and just like last year, we'll also be selling bottled drinks. Right now, I know we'll get bottled water. I'm not sure what else we'll have on offer, maybe just that. But that way, it can get really hot in the park, and we just want to have that easily accessible. And it also helps a little bit with NHA's cash flow. This is a really tough economic moment that we're in, and so I'm just thinking creatively about different ways to manage our cash flow. And so as members, I always kind of like to have you be aware of the strategies that I'm thinking of to keep our organization strong.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't, it seems like everyone's pretty much been able to ask a question. Is there anything else that you thought that we might talk about that we haven't covered yet? Sienna and Emily, do you guys have any other questions? Okay, perfect. Well, if anything comes up, please send us an email and we'll also be like, don't like hold your horses because we are going to send you all the materials within the next few weeks. So you will, and like, once we get closer to drop off day, like you will know exactly what to do, how to do it, and what it will all look like. But if you have any concerns, you can always shoot me an email, reach out, give us a phone call at the gallery, and we'd be happy to chat further.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all for participating and can't wait to see what you submit to the Sheaf Warehouse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
You.
everyone.
What do I do now? Let me see.